Hey again, it's Christina from Sunshine and Flora. So in this video, I want to tell you guys all about how I sell my flowers at farmers markets. So I'm going to go through what products I offer, my whole setup, and then all of the products that I use for my setup to sell the flowers. Now, if you're new to my channel, I grow cut flowers in Zone 5A in Northwest Iowa. This is my 5th growing season. We are a very rural part of the state. In fact, my town size is only 1501. I sell every single Tuesday at our local farmers market, but then I do a couple other types of markets throughout the summer. In fact, tomorrow I am doing a market in a town about 25 minutes away. It's smaller than our town, but their market is at their coffee shop in the parking lot, and they are expected to have 25 vendors. So I think it's going to be a really great show. They have that 3 different times throughout the summer, once a month. So I went in July and sold out. So I'm hoping tomorrow goes the same, because actually in July it was raining. So tomorrow's going to be perfect weather. Anyway, so that's one of the other markets that I do. I also do one really big market at the end of the season. It's the 3rd weekend in September. It's called the Made and Found Midwest Market. It's down in a town called Anthon, Iowa. Last year there were 80 to 100 vendors. It drew thousands of people. So that's kind of the big one that I prep for. So I just want to tell you what products I offer and how I set up for these various sized markets, and then what I decide to take at each market. I also recently posted a video where I asked for a few questions, so I'm going to be going through those as well. So my basic market setup for my Tuesday markets, which is our local farmers market, is pretty simple. I'll put some pictures up on the screen as I talk about this. I take a 10 by 10 tent. I got it off Amazon, and it is one of the kinds that you can push up in the center and you can set it up all by yourself. I find that very, very important, because I don't want to have to rely on someone else to help me set up my booth, another vendor to help me set up my tent. I just really like to get things done myself. So this one I am able to set up all by myself in like 2 minutes. Again, it's a 10 by 10. It's white. Some markets do require white tents. A couple of the ones that I attend do. And so both of these 10 by 10 tents that I have are both white. Now the tents always come with stakes, but if you're set up in a parking lot or pavement, you aren't going to be able to put those stakes in. So I always have sandbags on hand. In fact, the ones that are linked below down in this video are from Amazon, and they Velcro right around the leg of the tent, and that holds it in place. So I have 2 different sets of 4 of those. Those come in really handy when there's wind. Now my general market setup is just one table, either a 4 or a 6 foot table. I always put a very colorful tablecloth on, because that will catch people's eye. And then the buckets that I display my larger bouquets in are the 10-liter buckets from Johnny's. You can go to their website. They have various buckets that they offer. I like the 10-liter. I have both the regular and the wide, and I like them both. Now the large bouquets that I offer at my weekly markets are a $15 bouquet. That is the size that I have always offered, and so I just like to keep it very consistent, and I offer that every week. Now, sometimes when I have specialty flowers, like right away in the season when I have peonies, my bouquets will be $20. Once I start getting dahlias, I'll offer a few bouquets with a couple dahlias in. Those will bump up to $20. I had some lilies earlier this year, and I had a few bouquets that were $20. They all sold. I just don't want to give my flowers away. So the standard large bouquet is $15. And then I also do mini bouquets. And these sell out every single week. And I display these in various vases or mason jars. They're just a little mini bouquet with 5 or 6 short stems. These are stems that I normally wouldn't use in my large bouquets. So it's either pinch them and compost them, or I like to put them together for these mini bouquets. And I have various bouquet making videos where I show how I make these, so make sure to watch those. But those are the 2 different bouquets that I offer, the large and the mini, every single Tuesday. Now, as far as how I set up my booth, I said I use either a 4 or a 6-foot table, depending on how many flowers that I take. I also use one of these wooden crates, and I stand it up on its side, and I can lean a pricing sign on the front of it. I can stack some bouquets on the top of it, but on the back side, I store my money box on that inside part of it, and that comes in handy just to kind of shelter my money, keep it out of sight of people. But if it's windy, then I'm not going to be worried about when I open it, my bills blowing out. And this is the money box that I have. This is from Amazon, and you can get all kinds of colors. I just got white. It's the standard money box. They're not very expensive. I highly recommend getting one of these just to keep everything in one place, but then everything sorted so you can easily make change for your customers. Throughout the season, I use a few other display items, such as a plant stand that maybe I'll put a bucket of flowers in, or I have this really neat chalkboard sign that I also got off of Amazon. It's a double-sided sign, and I like to display this in front of my table, and I use a chalk marker, and I can write the prices on there, any message that I want. I actually haven't used it very much this year because I haven't switched it from the writing from my Mother's Day pop-up. I just haven't really gotten around to that. But when I do the big end of the season market, I will switch it to say something about my cut flowers and the pumpkins that I take. But this also is a really nice eye catcher for people to walk in the market. And again, a lot of the things that I use, the chalkboard sign, my tablecloths, everything are linked down below in my Amazon link. Now, as far as the bigger markets that I do, and I'll put some pictures up on the screen, the one I'm doing tomorrow, I would say is kind of a medium-sized market. I like to set up my tables in an L just so I have a lot more display space. And I started taking mini bouquets to this medium-sized market as well, and they all sold out. So I'm taking more tomorrow. But for this one, I like to sell $20 bouquets. Now you're probably thinking, well, that's not much different than a $15 bouquet, but I just wanted to up my prices a little bit. There's a lot more vendors. People are specifically coming to shop for a much bigger variety of goods, and they'll spend a little bit of extra money. So I can easily sell a $20 bouquet. Everybody has a $20 bill in their billfold. One thing that is very important with markets, I think, is I include tax in the price. Now, this is something that you will have to figure out in your accounting on your back end. If you're using QuickBooks or such, you still have to pay your sales tax. But I find it much easier when I'm taking cash at a market instead of asking them for $21.40 to just make it $20 and take the tax out later. So when I make my bouquets, now I have to figure about $1, maybe one less zinnia or something like that out of the bouquet. But I just find an even amount much easier to handle. All right, so moving on to that big end of the year market. This one I prep for all year in planting. In fact, I have 2 different sunflower plantings, one about 400 sunflowers, the next one about 300 sunflowers that I planted a week apart, because it's very important for me to have as many flowers as possible for this market. Now, the products that I sell at this market are large wrapped bouquets of sunflowers and various other items, like I think last year I had amaranth in there, maybe some zinnias. These I price at $25, and I do that because I also sell jelly jar arrangements that are priced at $15. I wanted to set these a little further apart in a price point rather than 15 and 20. I thought 15 and 25 would set the products apart even more. Now here's a few pictures of the jelly jar arrangements. They're so cute. They don't take a ton of stems. In fact, if I have some dahlias that are shorter stems, this is the perfect way to use them. But gosh, they have sold out every single year. Last year, I think I took 85 of these jarred arrangements. The large wrapped bouquets, I can't remember how many that I took last year, but they sold out. And so I'm going to have to take more this next year. I'm even toying with the idea, if I have an abundance of dahlias, of maybe offering a $35 really large bouquet that is sunflowers and dahlias. So my $25 bouquet would be mostly sunflowers and some other accents. The $35 would be that bouquet plus some dahlias. I think that that could be a really fun thing, and maybe not offer a ton of those, but have a couple sections with those step-up bouquets. Now, the other item that I take to that big end of the season market is pumpkins. I don't take the big, large jack-o'-lantern pumpkins because who wants to carry those around a market when you're shopping? And you can get those anywhere. So I like to grow specialty pumpkins. I grow the mini pumpkins, like the orange, the yellow and white, or just the white, and I sell those 2 for $3. And I have those displayed throughout the booth in different sized crates. And then I take some other small and medium sized pumpkins that are anywhere from 5 inches to 10 inches wide, still easy to carry around the market, or I have shopping bags that they can carry them right to their car. And I find that offering these unique pumpkins that are maybe different sizes, striped, different colorings. Some are kind of a mauve coloring. I have black pumpkins. You can't just get those anywhere. And so I find that people really enjoy buying those unique pumpkins because that's not something they can just get at their local farm stand or grocery store. So that tends to be the only market that I take the pumpkins to, other than we always have one local farmer's market left in the summer right after that big market. So any pumpkins that I have left over from that, I will just take to that local farmer's market the next week. Last year, I think I maybe only had 15 mini pumpkins that was left. So each year I try to grow a few more pumpkins than I did the year before. So now that I have kind of rambled and told you all about the products that I sell and showed you pictures of my market setup, I'd like to go on to the questions that were asked in the last video. Some of you just had a few questions for me about my wrapped bouquets and how I sell at the market. So I'm going to go through those right now. So the first question was, what size of paper do I use for wrapping my mini bouquets? My full-size bouquets I cut to an 18 by 18 inch square, and the mini ones I will trim to more of like a 12 by 12 inch size. Someone else commented about the short stems for the mini bouquets. She said, if you're going to toss the short flowers, you might as well make them into a bouquet. And then she asked about the customers who buy the $5 bouquets. Yes, it is a different purpose than the $20 bouquets. Not everyone wants to spend $20 on flowers. I will have children that will buy the $5 bouquets for their mothers, or, an elderly woman that maybe has a really tight budget or a very small apartment that she maybe just wants a few flowers in a vase. That's who buys those $5 bouquets. Someone asked where I get my stickers that I put on my bouquets. Now, I'm also a professional photographer, so I order the stickers through one of my labs. There's a lot of sites that you can get stickers online. I do the 2-inch circles. I find that those are a really great size for the size of bouquets that I wrap. Someone asked if I have a dollar price in mind when it comes to whether it's worth doing a market or not worth doing. Like, do you need to make X amount of dollars to continue doing markets? Yes and no. I don't make a huge amount of money every week at our local farmers market because it is very small, but I feel that it is very important for me to be there most weeks just to kind of keep my presence in the community. Yes, I might make a couple or a few $100s in a couple hours, which, when you add that up in a month, that's a good amount of money, but it's not like going to a big market. We also are restoring the neighboring building that will be a future retail space. And so just keeping my name out there and showing people the flowers that I have will hopefully eventually get them to come into the storefront. When I do these other markets, like the one I'm doing tomorrow or the one that I do the end of the season, absolutely, I want to make a certain amount of money, and I feel like you just have to kind of figure that out, whether it's worth it for you based on how many hours that you are there. The end of the season market takes me a couple days to prep for, but I make thousands of dollars, so it's definitely worth it to end the season with. I actually used to do a farmer's market in a neighboring town, and they had a pretty good crowd that came every week to buy from the one vegetable guy or to eat the fundraising meal, but they didn't shop the other vendors, and I hardly sold anything. I don't do that market anymore because I just felt like it was not worth my time. So yes, I do say no if I don't think it's worth my time. Someone's asking about the variety of the mini sunflowers that I am selling. Now, I grow all the Pro-Cut sunflowers because they are pollenless. They are single stem sunflowers, and the way you get a smaller sunflower is you just plant them closer together. And so I plant mine about 4 inches apart. Someone asked, when you cut and wrap days prior to the market, what product do you add to the water? Well, I try to cut and wrap all of my bouquets either the day before or the day of the market. So I currently am not using anything in my water. Now, when I do that big end of the season market, sometimes there will be things that I will cut 2 days before that market, and I use the Flora Life. Someone asked how I get my dahlias to hold in the vase. They love dahlias, but say they don't last very long in the vase. Dahlias are beautiful flowers, but they are notorious for having a shorter vase life, maybe 5 days, whereas some will hold, 10 days, 2 weeks. It's very important to cut your flowers early in the morning or in the evening when it is cool, and definitely get them hydrated as quick as possible. And dahlias, you want to look at the back of the flower. If any of the leaves are looking just a little bit weathered on the back of the flower or not as healthy, it's too far gone, and don't cut it because it definitely won't last in the vase. All right, and the last question, which I think is a really good one, how do you transport your flowers to the market? So I use the wooden crate that I use for a display. I use those to help transport my flowers. So the mini bouquets that I have displayed in the various vases, I will put multiple of those vases in that crate and carry those into the car to the market with me. They do not tip over, and I'm already using the crates for display anyway, so that is a really easy way. I will also put a bucket of flowers in one of those crates to transport it in my car, or I have the large plastic like Rubbermaid containers. I have a large one that I can fit 3 buckets of flowers in, and I carry that and put that in my car, and then my buckets don't tip over. When I am transporting my jelly jars to that big end of the season market, when I ordered those jelly jars, they came in boxes in styrofoam that had kind of the shape of the jar in it. I save all of that packing material, and then when I put those arrangements together, I can put it back in the boxes right in that foam and then transport them that way. So you have to get a little creative, but it is doable. So anyway, that's kind of my farmer's market spiel on setup and what I sell and answering your questions. If you have any further questions, comment below and I will try to answer them the best that I can. And I hope this helped with your market setup and maybe what you're offering. I hope it gave you some ideas. And stay tuned for a lot more yet this season. I'm going to be sharing my bouquet making videos through the rest of the season, fall prep, harvesting, and everything. So I hope you guys are having a great summer. Stay tuned for a lot more, and we'll see you soon.